नमस्ते पुरुषं त्वाद्यम् ईश्वरं प्रकृते परम् अलक्ष्यं सर्वभूतानां अंतर्बहिरवस्थितम्. Here, this is Sri Kunti. She's offering her prayers. So we have discussed elaborately different types of prayers and all. And here we'll start our discussion. Briefly, we will try to speak about all the verses. Some purports will not elaborate so much because this points in the purports we can cover in other sections of Bhagavatam also. We will just briefly discuss the purports because some other important points, of course, some are there from the purports and some points we will try to discuss because they are very elaborate and like this point Prabhupada repeats many times, so we'll not miss anything. We just have to continue with Prabhupada's purport. So we'll just read the translations and we have completed actually reading 3-4 purports. We'll just read the we'll just have brief discussions about some of the purports. Namaste Purusham Tvadyam Ishwaram Prakriteparam Alaksham Sarvabhutanam Antarbahiravastitam. Srimati Kunti said, O Krishna, I offer my obeisances unto you because you are the original personality and are unaffected by the qualities of material world. You are existing both within and without everything, yet you are invisible to all. Now here, this is a very important understanding we have discussed previously also, but just still I will try to repeat some of the things about this prayer especially. So when Krishna is talking about, when Kunti Maharani is telling, this is considered the very comprehensive definition of absolute truth. Of course, first shloka of Srimad Bhagavatam also gives the definition. Here Kunti Maharani also gives her definition of absolute truth, and that is also very nicely explained. So here Kunti Maharani, she is having a parental affection for Krishna, and suddenly she starts praising Krishna, and Krishna was also surprised. And then there is a discussion that happens between Krishna and Kunti Maharani. Of course, this is the discussion that Acharyas write. In this shloka, we will not find. But Acharyas, they have given nice conversation that happens. With many shlokas, they have given. And of course, we'll be reading, but some of the things which will be helpful for us, I will also try to discuss, which is a nice thing. When Kunti Maharani is praying, she has seen Krishna performing many activities from Vrindavan to Dwarka to Mathura and in Hastinapur. So she has experienced Krishna in all areas. Now she gives her definition of Lord. She says because Krishna is accustomed to addressing Kunti as elder and asking her blessings and used to accept her motherly love. Suddenly Kunti begins to speak Namaste. Now I bow down to you, O my Lord. And now this is not etiquette. In the Vedic system, the etiquette is very strictly observed. Elders must not bow down to the younger ones. And a mother may not bow down to her son. Otherwise, the relationship will be disturbed. This becomes rasabas. Now, in this case, however, there was no rasabas because she says what happens is sometimes Aishwarya Jnana overcomes and this overcomes the surface of Kunti's consciousness temporarily. Otherwise, she is more of she has Vatsalya Bhav, but sometimes this Aishwarya Bhav overcomes and that obscured her motherly love and living only the Tattva part, not the Rasa. Now she says, you are God. I am tiny soul. I am in need your protection. Now, then the same thing like Krishna, when Devaki was there after Krishna killed Kamsa, they also started looking at prayerfully folding their hands. And Krishna and Balram, they said, "Arey, what is this? We came all the way to see this or what?" They began to ask forgiveness, and now we are your sons, and now, but we could not do much of our duty. Now we have come like that. So Krishna, he raised his eyebrows and says, "What is this? You're suddenly bow down to me." And then she says, "Because you are Purusha, I must say Purusha. I bow down to you because Purusha." And Then Krishna says, okay, Purusha means enjoyer, but also man. Krishna says, I agree, I'm a man, I'm Purusha, but that is not a reason for you to bow down. Then she says, no, 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 you are not ordinary Purusha. You are the original Purusha. Then she says, okay, all right, I am the original, but all are original only. There is no but for the soul also. As such, everybody is original. Anadi. Now, soul never comes into existence. It is also Anadi. Kunti says, but you are Ishvara, you are God. Krishna is Brahma and Shiva are also Ishvara. Na? But and Indra is also Ishvara. The kings of this world also are Ishvara. No, no. You are Parameshwara. You are Ishvara, but you are not like ordinary Ishvara. You are Ishvara who is beyond this material world. So, Prakrite Param. Krishna says, oh, that means you are calling me as Paramatma? This is no, no, no. You are not Parama. You are Alaksha also. So, Alaksha means invisible. Or Alaksha also means one cannot be recognized, one who has not no visible signs. So, this is what is Alaksha. And a person sometimes feels because he can feel the God in the presence of their heart. But when it comes to Krishna, it is not so easy. Kunti says, you are not just Paramatma, you are Alaksha, you cannot be recognized. And Krishna says, okay, you want me to say that I am impersonal Brahman? He says, no, 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 no. You are not impersonal Brahman. You are Antarbahiravastitam. You are inside also, you are outside also. You are right in front of me, and at the same time, you are inside all things. Because you have protected my sons outside and you have protected, entered into the womb of Uttara also. And that means Kunti is coming to this conclusion how the omnipotent Lord Krishna is Matsthani Sarvabhutani Nachaham Teshavastita Nacha Matsthani Bhutani Pashyame Yogameshwara. This is what Krishna is trying to do. Now, so the Supreme Lord, this is the main quality that distinguishes Bhagavan, personality of Godhead, from all others. The Lord, this is what distinguishes the living entity and the Lord. These qualities that cannot be in any other place. Now, Krishna is right in front of Kunti. She is seeing him. At the same time, she knows that he resides in the heart of all living entities, in every atom. Now, according to logic, we cannot say that, okay, if you are at some place, if who is at every place cannot be at one place. Means if you are all, then it should be impersonal form. But he is having a person form and he is everywhere also. So there, because what is this form? But Krishna has this form. So this is very difficult, inconceivable, because Krishna is beyond logic. Logically, we cannot understand omnipresence of the Lord. Omnipresence cannot be localized. This is the point. It is everywhere, means it cannot be at one place. This place means it is there everywhere. So it's quite difficult to conceive. Now, because and Bhagavan, the personality of God, he has no form and simultaneously he has form. That's it. If you are everywhere means you should not have form. And both limitless and he is limited. Is unlimited also. This is how Kunti Maharani is able to see, and he is unborn yet born and is greatest and smallest, infinite and all. So all these contradictions are in Supreme Lord. Like that. Now logically, Achintya Kalve Bhava Nat Tarkems Yojayat. So ordinary logic, we cannot understand the law. That's the point. And foolish people, they try to from ages they are trying to understand the God and trying to deny the existence of God and trying to catch him and all these things. But Kunti Maharani says, no, no, Antarbahiravastitam. Everything within your control, and I can see that how you are doing all these things because you playfully lifted the Sudarshan Chakra and then you have come to protect my sons from Brahmastra. and simultaneously you went into Putra and protected her, because the main Brahmastra was directed to her. Now, this next shloka, she is telling, we have read all the purports, so I'm just reading. Till 20 we have read the purports, so no problem. Maya Javanika Channam, Agnadokshajamavyam, Nalakshase Mudadusha, Nato Natya Daroida. Being beyond the range of limited sense perception, you are the eternally irreproachable factor covered by the curtain of deluding energy. You are invisible to the foolish observer, exactly as an actor dressed as a player is not recognized. So in this, she is telling the next. This is a very important thing. She is telling that recognizing God's incomprehensibility is actually the first step to comprehend. If we should understand that I cannot understand Lord, then we will be able to understand something. So Kunti takes this first step by explaining Krishna, you are inconceivable, Maya Javanika Channa. And she says you are hidden by the veil of Maya. Maya Javanika Channa. It's a veil of Maya. It's a illusory energy. And Krishna may say, oh, am I covered by Maya? Then says, because Lord's raise eyebrows, Maya Javanika Channa. Then Krishna says, that means, do you accept the philosophy of Mayavadis? Do you really think that Maya can cover the infinite Brahman? Kundi says, no, no, no. Ado Maya Javanika Channam Agnadokshajam Abhyayam. That means you are closed only to the ignorant people. You are Aja. The veil of Maya does not cover you. And also you are Abhyaya. Abhyaya means inexhaustible. Now it obscures the eyes of ignorant people, making you inaccessible to the perception of material senses. And no cloud can obscure the sun. Only for temporary, for our eyes, the sun is covered. But clouds cannot cover the sun like that. Properly. And Kunti says, I cannot come in contact with you because you are beyond sense perceptions. And all my knowledge is obtained through the senses. So this is very important point. Try to understand. Our senses are material and Lord is spiritual. So with our senses, we cannot have access for the Lord. Lord is Akshajam, which is beyond actually. Our eyes, ears, tongue. Therefore, it always remains in ignorance, because these are all product of ahankara. In mode of ignorance, all these material senses are given. How can the senses get access to the supremely transcendental Lord? Nothing spiritual. Now then Krishna says, Are, you are telling you cannot comprehend me and you are figuring out about me. So and Krishna says, you are directly seeing in front of me. I am seeing, you are seeing me. I am there in front of you. And you are glorifying me. And then again you are telling that I am beyond material energy. So, and then you are telling you are ignorant. Then Kunti says that my eyes may see, but I do not see. Why? Because for one looks to this world through the prism of their mind. So this is the point. What she is want to tell is, we see the world with the prism of our mind, not through our eyes. That means if I am looking at an object, based on the state of mind, I see the object. If I am seeing, say, mangoes, and what is the state of my mind? I want to give it to Krishna. Oh, nice fruits to give it to Krishna. Or if somebody sees, oh, it's very heat, if their body is problem. If somebody sees, they say, wow, nice enjoyment, whatever. So object, it's not through eyes. As soon as the information goes from our eyes to our chitta processes it and says, okay, this is looking yellow and this form, that means it is mango. And then that information goes to our mind, and mind says, wow, accept, reject, or whatever. So the emotions, and then immediately Ahankara says, I want, I don't want. It happens so fraction. That means it's not just eyes, it is actually through mind we see anything. And so here, a foolish cannot recognize even Lord is appearing in front of him. That's actually what happened. Krishna was present. Many of the people they could not recognize only. Even Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was there in Navadvip. Many people could not recognize. They offended him. Such way has to take sannyas and go. And Nityanand Prabhu has to come and tell her, what did you do? He's Supreme Lord. You offended him. And then they surrendered later on. But the point is, even if God appears before a fool, in all his glory, like when Krishna showed his Virat form to Duryodhana and all the party when he went as a peace messenger, with all his glory and majesty, the foolishness of a people actually prevents them from understanding God because of two reasons. One is because of sin, and other is because of ignorance. Ignorance is anyway there, and they commit sinful activities, and that further covers. And people with demonic mindset, no, they are unwilling to recognize Lord. They will not recognize him as supreme absolute truth. Even they see some miracles happening, but still they say no, some natural phenomena. They just brush it off. And Lord is not very much eager to prove that he is existing and all. That is also another thing. He says, okay, if you are interested, then I'll show you. Otherwise, because of their sorry, because of their partly being because of stubbornness and because of their committing sinful activities. So, scarcity of knowledge, stupid stubbornness, sinful actions in the past and present. So, all three are the main reasons. They cannot recognize Lord. So, this is what Kunti Maharaj is trying to tell. Even if they come. So, Kuntini says, the foolish observers, no, they cannot. So, here Maya Javanika Channam Agnadoksha Nalakshase Modadrisham Nalakshase cannot be seen. Modadrisham, they're foolish. Nato Natya Daroeta. She says that it's like an actor on the stage. Now, actor or singer or dancers, previously, the traditional theaters, not like present theaters. In traditional theaters in India, there are actors, they used to wear huge clothes and big makeups, and even men also were playing the role of women. Now to recognize them is very difficult on the stages that time. Full makeups and dress and all. Man is as a woman and all these things. So Kunti says you are like a nata. You are like an actor. You are playing all sorts of roles, and you cannot be recognized. The Krishna comes in various roles and goes. Not many people can recognize. And he also a good actor knows what to do on stage so that audience can experience rasa, and they can get all sorts of rasa and music and all. So here Krishna is also coming and performing all these activities and rasas, and very few people can recognize. Now then Kunti says you are actually not ordinary actor, you are a splendid actor. Very powerful actor. You play so many parts in a brilliant way, and take real pleasure in it. Lord enjoys the whatever role, but he get absorbed because Yogamaya covers Krishna also, so that he can experience full rasa of what he's doing. And not only that, he want to share his bliss to everyone. That is also another thing. And only few people can truly appreciate. And some people, they cannot appreciate, their heart does not respond to it. Why? Because of ignorance and stupid stubbornness and sinful activities. That's the reasons. Now Nakunti says that, okay, how did Lord do in this case? Then she says, okay, Kunti Maharani says, I saw you protecting my sons. And for that, you need not pick up a Sudarshan Chakra. Why did you do it? Before the battle, you promised that you will not touch any weapon. Why did you broke your promise? Why did you broke your word unnecessarily? You could have protected them as you protected them many times without any Sudarshan Chakra. And you just protected Parikshit also. And besides that, array, you are in the heart of all living beings. The motivation, like no, you induced Ashwatthama to hurl the Brahmastra. If you not have in the Paramatma inspired Ashwatthama, why will he release Brahmastra? How will we understand you? It's so difficult. You are an actor and your activities cannot be understood. Who can understand you? Krishna says, oh, it is really so hard to understand me. I simply wanted to protect my devotees. And for that, I am ready to break my promise also. Kunti says, okay, all right. Then explain. Then why did you teach Pandavas how to kill Bhishma then? You said in Bhagavad Gita that you will protect Paritranaya Sadhuna Vinashaya Sadrishtam. You said you will protect Sadhuna. You came to protect religious, nice people, sadhus. And Bhishma is such a righteous person. And instead of protecting him, you taught Arjuna how to kill Bhishma. How do you tell that? Then Krishna, he becomes a little satisfied. He said, oh, really? What else you know? Tell me. Then Kunti says, okay, Krishna, that why did you not protect my grandson Abhimanyu then? Abhimanyu he grew up on your lap, and he's the only son of your beloved sister whom you gave in marriage to your beloved friend Arjuna. Why you did not protect him? He was your favorite nephew, but you, in front of your eyes, he was unjustly murdered, and you did not do anything. So how can we understand you? And Kunti says, not only that, everyone knows how much you love Draupadi. So she is so close to you, and what you have done to her, you allowed her all the five sons to be murdered. And you know that night this is going to happen. And that's why you told Pandavas to go and sleep some other place. And who can understand you and appreciate your game? So somebody who looks through the prism of defiled mind, for them and impure heart, then for them it is very difficult to appreciate Krishna. So when heart is pure, mind is defiled, they cannot appreciate, they will only criticize. So God is rasa, raso vaisaha. So in order to understand, one must actually become a connoisseur of rasas. That is how it's very difficult. Now we can also ask, Nare, what is this? What Lord is doing? It is impossible to understand. That's the problem. It is impossible to understand Lord with material mind, because He is infinite Lord. Our mind is having very limited capacity. That is the reason we say that no, all these impersonalists, they are trying to understand with pantastu koti satavatsara sampragamyo vayuratapi manasomani. So they, with their mind, they are traveling to understand. It is not possible. That's why empirical methods of knowledge are powerless before the Lord. Now, Lord, out of compassion, He descends and takes the role as an actor on the stage, and He manifests many of His leelas. But foolish people only laugh and they say, oh, then Kunti Maharani says, Krishna himself, Avajananti Mamudha, Manasham Tanmashrita. Avajananti Mamudha. This foolish cannot understand. And this is what happens is, and foolish people, they create so many nonsense stories of the Lord. That is another problem. Like this Radha Krishna's pastimes and all. So many serials are coming with such a bogus stories. I never saw enough, but only heard, and it is still going on. So this is all such a offense actually. They're ignorant and they cause others ignorant. And some people, when I meet, they say, "Oh, serial is so nice." And I say, "What is so nice about it? It's all nonsense. You are going to hell." Unless our hearts are purified through spiritual practice and studying of scriptures, we cannot come in contact with Lord. That's why sadhana is very important, because Lord is covered behind Maya Javanika Channa. Ajnadokshajam abhyam. Nalakshase mudadasham. Nato natyadar. Therefore, nobody can comprehend him. And they can feel his presence only by a pure and humble heart. That's all. And that starts with service. When we start rendering service, then only we'll be able to understand. And and now in the next shloka, Kunti Maharani, she is going to tell another understanding of Lord. So first two shlokas, she explained what she understood about Lord, and next shloka she says, who cannot understand. Then she says, Tata Paramahamsanam Ninam Amalatmanam Bhakti Yoga Vidanartham Katam Pashyema Hi Striyah. Oh, we forgot only, we thought of reciting all the prayer songs. We'll see in the end. We'll just recite before ending the class. We'll recite all the prayers of Kunti Maharani. Now here, what Kunti is telling is she explains how Moodas and fools can gradually purify their heart and overcome their foolishness, and they can understand Krishna. So the only way to understand Lord is through love. But how this love can appear? So this is in the Manasiksha Raghunadas Gotami says, Katam Premna Sprita, So how you can get prema is only by the association and mercy. So now she says that who is able to feel the sweetness of your love, like whatever you are. So that will happen only when we come in contact with pure-hearted people. So only those who possesses Tata Paramahamsana Munina Amalatmana. So here Paramahamsas, Munis and Amalatmas. So there are three categories of people. So one is pure-hearted. So they are all pure-hearted, but in different ways. And Krishna, for their sake, Krishna comes into this material world to show his leelas to them and to show some bhakti for them to increase their bhakti. Now, Paramahansa is a person who has developed the ability to distinguish spirit and matter. So, Prabhupada gives the example, Paramahamsa means swan. So, swan can it can separate milk from water. This is a perfect, Paramahamsa is a perfect swan. You give milk, so you can distinguish matter and spirit. You can see the difference. What is lower and higher natures, and he has renounced this material part of the world, and he has only accepted. Now, Muni means they are philosophers, so they are speculative thinkers. Robert tells in the purport. Now, here. Muni can be who is very deep, he is a thinker, he is serious and silent in ascetic, or he can be study fast and he is wise or holy. So Munis, all these people are called Munis, and they are not interested in the splendor of this material world. That is the main thing. And then Amalatma means pure soul. Amala means pure soul. So it refers to the people whose heart is free from sin. That is the main point here. That means filth is what? Lust and greed. Finish. Person is free from lust and greed is called Amalat. Now Kunti says that, Arey, you we can teach bhaktis for only Tata Paramsara Munina Amalat. Bhakti Yoga Vidhanartha. Thus, and who are pure hearted. That means these people are totally focused. For their sake, you come to this material world. But what to speak of as like women? So, how it is that, how can we appreciate and understand this? Now, Shastra sometimes they speak actually uh, uh, negative about women. Negative means they say, okay, woman means something low. Now, how to understand it? So, very politically important question for all of us. When Shastras are saying, because this is what the many people use against our Shastra. They say this Shastras, na, this is actually written by men, and the men in that unenlightened times of this world, and when the society was ruled by brutal physical forces and women are mercilessly exploited. So that is the time these books are written. This is the opinion of many people. But the Shastras don't say like that. Shastra says that the supreme spiritual equality it explains. What is that supreme spiritual equality? Vidya Vinaya Sampanne, Brahmane Gavihastine, Suni Chaiva Supakecha, Pandita Samadarshana. A sage is possessed with true knowledge means he looks equally upon the learned and all this Suni Vidya Vinaya Sampanne, Brahmane Gavihastine, the cow, elephant, dog eater. That means what? They are seeing the spirit soul. So it's not a male or female. All of us have spirit soul only. It's all equal. Only the external covering is of a woman or a man. So Shastras do not condemn women as such, but a mentality that interferes with spiritual development, that is condemned. Please understand, it is not condemning women as such. It is condemning the mentality that is interfering in spiritual development. So this is what Kapil Dev also says in Srimad Bhagavatam. He says that if a living being in his past life is attached to women, in the next life he receives a form of a female body, and with and he looks at Maya with his attachment, and in the guise of a man, that means her husband, and expecting that he will make her rich, give her offsprings, build a house, and bring her so many material goods. In other words, that according to Shastras, the living being receives a body of woman because of attachment to material pleasures. So this attachment is a cause. This actually causes the soul to completely identify with matter, Prakriti, and forgets its original spiritual nature. So now, if some living entity now in the form of woman, now she's accepting spiritual activities, then she don't have that mentality. That is not condemned. So it's not the form condemned, with the mentality. Because of attachment to soul, attachment to matter, what happens? The soul becomes weaker. Like weakness is nothing but attachment to pleasures, indulging in one's desires. The female mentality, well, actually, female mentality can be with man also. The mentality is committed. It can be a weak woman or a capricious man also. Both are condemned. It's not man or woman, it's a mentality. So the is actually it's a totally opposite to that of Paramamsas, Munis and Amalatmas. So how many people are there, Amalatmas, Munis and Paramamsas around us? That means all have this mentality only. That is the problem. It is not it is not it is not a question of male or female body. It's a question of mentality. So we want to. This is what Shastra is telling. Now, what that's what Kunti is not actually lowering the woman. She's telling, she's actually trying to make us understand that this mentality is what is condemned. And now, in speaking of women, Kunti is also referring to all of us who are attached. Of course, some of you may be not attached, but in general, and that is who are attached, the weak, and the pampered people of Kali Yuga. She is addressing all of them. Now, so what she says that the people like us who are weak, who are shamefully attached to material pleasure, and can we comprehend you? That's what Kunti is asking. We are weak also, we are attached, we are shameful. How can we comprehend you? So, Tata Paramsana, Munina Malatman, Bhakti Yoga Vina, Katam Pashyami Striya are attached and weak people. And so then she says, that what is the hope? Hope is that Lord's mercy will come to the humble people. That's what she says in the next shloka. So this is very important. So even the greatest speculators, philosophers have no gateway to the realm of Lord, she says. So Upanishad also says that no supreme truth, the personality of Godhead is beyond the mental capacity. Even the greatest philosophers cannot understand. That's actually what happens in the world. And now Kunti Maharani further she said, now here it is very important to purify the heart, and purification of heart is by sadhana. Neither if a great mind or erudite scholar, that is not actually the requirement only. Only on whom the mercy is descended, for them it is helpful. Others may meditate for many years, but still Lord will remain mysterious only. Now, there are one important thing Prabhupada says, like, unlike philosophers, women are usually incapable of reflection, but they receive Lord's mercy. Why? Prabhupada says, because they can immediately believe in the superiority of Lord and bow down to him unconditionally. That's what Prabhupada says. Actually, this is the greatest advantage. Any program we do, women get maximum benefited because they come here, do kirtan, they don't have much problem. Men are little rational, they think really these things. So now purity of heart is the must in order to enter into the realm of God. But only bhakti can truly purify, no other method. Therefore, Prabhupada says real purity of heart uh, not in the absence of desires, but in the humility. So purity of heart is not that I don't have any desires. Even impersons also don't have desires, but humility is very important. That means we may have some desires, but if we are humble, we can receive the mercy of Lord and we can go to spiritual world. So that is a hope for us. Now, what is this humility? Humility is what humility does. It gives an unflinching faith in Krishna and His mercy, and enable us to practice bhakti and purify our heart. That is, and we also see that. So what happens is, of course, there are many explanations for it. We'll not go much deeper. So these first three verses of Kunti's prayer. First is he cannot be understood by material mind. Second is he is not accessible to the material senses. Third is ignorant and ignorance is inherent in all people and which obscures us from God. Fourth is the consequences of sinful deeds makes a man stupid and covers his vision to see the Lord. Another thing is attachment to material pleasures defiles our heart. So, and she now what Kunti is telling with all these things, what is the quality that is needed to overcome all these obstacles is humility. The hope that Krishna's mercy is there. So, very simple. Please remember first three shlokas, first six important points. What are the points? We cannot understand with material mind, not accessible to our senses. So ignorance is there in all the people which we cannot see, and people who are the consequence of sinful deeds is they become more stupid and covered. Their vision gets covered. And last one is attachment to material pleasures defiles our heart. But we and many of them, at least I have all of them. Only thing is we have to have hope that Krishna will show mercy. And now she will explain in the next shloka what a humble person should come to. So this is the next important. So how our heart should open. So set up a method to understand. So we'll just read because we completed purports. I think till here. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo. Let me therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto the Lord, who has become the son of Vasudeva, the pleasure of Devaki, the boy of Nanda, and the other cowherd men of Vrindavan, and the enlivener of the cows and the senses. So we will read the purport here. Before we go further, we'll just read 2-3 purports and then we continue our discussion. I am not taking directly some points. I'm from the purports because what I told, some things which we'll get again. The Lord being thus unapproachable by any material asserts out of unbounded and causeless mercy, descends to the earth as he is ordered to show his special mercy upon his unalloyed devotees and to diminish the upsurge of the demonic persons. Queen Kunti specifically adores the incarnations or descent of Lord Krishna above all other incarnations because in this particular incarnation he is more approachable. This we read, but again I'll read. In the Ram incarnation, he is okay. The sixth point. The sixth point. Yeah, I'll repeat. Now only I'll repeat, otherwise I'll forget. So the 6 points. Maybe if due to I can send the notes, but otherwise I'll just repeat. So the first point is he cannot be understood by material mind. First 3 shlokas only. This is not accessible to our senses. With mind, senses not possible. Then third is ignorance is actually in all people. That is the cause we are not able to see the Lord. Even the Lord is standing in front of us, we cannot understand him.
Prabhu, slowly, please.
Okay, I'll send the notes, Mataji, in the group.
Fine. Okay, Prabhu. Okay, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay. So we can read the purports. In the Ram incarnation, he remained a king's son from his very childhood. But in the incarnation of Krishna, although he was the son of a king, he at once left the shelter of his real father and mother, King Vasudeva and Queen Devaki. Just after his appearance, he went to the lap of Yashoda to play the part of an ordinary cowherd boy in the blessed Brajabhumi, which is very scientified because of his childhood past. And therefore, Lord Krishna is more merciful than Lord Rama. He was undoubtedly very kind to Kunti's brother Vasudeva and the family. Had he not become the son of Vasudeva and Devaki, Queen Kunti could not claim him to be her nephew and thus addressed Krishna in parental affection. But Nanda and Yashoda are more fortunate because they could relish the Lord's childhood pastimes, which are more attractive than all other pastimes. There is no parallel to his childhood pastimes as exhibited at Brajabhumi, which are replicas of his eternal affairs in the original Krishna Loka described as the Chintamani Dham in the Brahma Samhita. Lord Sri Krishna descends himself to Rajabhumi with all his transcendental entourage and paraphernalia. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu therefore confirmed that no one is as fortunate as the residents of Rajabhumi, and specifically the cowherd girls who descends there everything for the satisfaction, dedicated their everything for the satisfaction of Lord. His pastimes with Nanda and Yashoda and his pastimes with the cowherd men, and especially with the cowherd boys and the cows have caused him to be known as Govinda. Lord Krishna as Govinda is more inclined to the Brahmanas and cows, indicating thereby that human prosperity depends more on the two items, namely Brahmanical culture and the cow protection. Lord Krishna is never satisfied where these are lacking. So we have discussed, we have read this purport. I will just read next one, next two also. Namah Pankaja Nabhaya, Namah Pankaja Malini, Namah Pankaja Netraya, Namaste Pankajangre. My respectful obeisances unto you, O Lord, whose abdomen is marked with a depression like a lotus flower, who are always decorated with garlands of lotus flowers, whose glance is as cool as the lotus, and whose feet are engraved with lotus. Here some of the specific symbols marked on the spiritual body of the personality of Godhead, which distinguishes his body from the bodies of others. They are all special features of the body of the Lord. The Lord may appear as one of us, but he is always distinct by his specific bodily features. Srimati Kunti claims herself unfit to see the Lord because of her being a woman. This claim this claimed because women Shudras, Labors, and Dvijabandhus are the wretched descendants of the higher three classes are unfit by intelligence to understand transcendental subject matter concerning the spiritual name, fame, attributes, forms, etc. of the Supreme Absolute Truth. Such persons, although they are unfit to enter into the spiritual affairs of the Lord, can see him as the Archa Vigraha, who descends to the material world just to distribute favor to the fallen souls, including the above mentioned women, Sudras, and Vijabandhus. Because such fallen souls cannot see anything beyond matter, the Lord descends to enter into each and every one of the innumerable universes as a Garbhodakshay Vishnu, who grows a lotus stem from the lotus-like depression in the center of his transcendental abdomen, and thus Brahma, the first living being in the universe, is born. Therefore, the Lord is known as Pankajana. The Pankajana Lord accepts the Acha Vigraha, his transcendental form, in different elements, namely a form within the mind, a form made of wood, a form made of earth, a form made of metal, a form made of jewel, a form made of paint, a form drawn on sand, etc. All such forms of the Lord are always decorated with garlands of lotus flowers, and there should be a soothing atmosphere in the temple of worship to attract the burning attention of the non-devotees, always engaged in material banging. The meditators worship a form within the mind. Therefore, the Lord is merciful even to the women, Shudras, and Dvijabandhus, provided they agree to visit the temple or worship in different forms made for them. That means because they cannot meditate directly on the Lord, so this form is provided so that it will help them to meditate. Such temple visitors are not idolaters, as alleged by some men, with a poor fund of knowledge. All the great acharyas established such temples of worship in all places just to favor the less intelligent, and one should not pose himself as transcending that stage of temple worship while one is actually in the category of the Shudra and woman or less. One should begin to see the Lord from his lotus feet, gradually rising to the thighs, waist, chest, and face. One should not try to look at the face of the Lord without being accustomed to seeing the lotus feet of the Lord. Srimati Kunti, because of her being the aunt of Lord, did not begin to see the Lord from the lotus feet because the Lord might feel ashamed. And thus, Kunti Devi, just to save a painful situations for the Lord, began to see the Lord just above his lotus feet, that is from the waist of the Lord, gradually rising to the face and then down to the lotus feet. And around everything there is order. So, Prabhupada is nice. We'll just take one this purport and then we'll go for little more discussions on the two shlokas which we have. यथा ऋषिकेश कलेन देवकी कंसेन वृद्धाति चिरं सुचार्पितं विमोहश्च सहात्मजा विभो त्वयैव नाथेन पर्वत. Oh Rishikesha, master of the senses, the Lord of Lords, you have released your mother Devaki, who was long imprisoned and distressed by the envious King Kamsa and me and my children from a series of constant danger. Purport. Devaki, the mother of Krishna and the sister of King Kamsa, was put into prison along with her husband, was there because the envious king was afraid of being killed by Devaki's eighth son Krishna. He killed all the sons of Devaki who were born before Krishna. But Krishna escaped the danger of child slaughter because he was transferred to the house of Nanda Maharaj. Lord Krishna's foster. Kunti Devi, along with her children, was also saved from a series of dangers, but Kunti Devi was shown favor, far more favor, because Lord Krishna did not save the other children of Devaki, whereas he saved the children of Kunti Devi. This was done because Devaki's husband Vasudeva was living, whereas Kunti was a widow, and there was no hope, there was none to help her except Krishna. The conclusion is that Krishna endows more favor to a devotee who is in greater danger. Sometimes he puts his pure devotee in such dangers because in that condition of helplessness, the devotee becomes more attached to the Lord. The more the attachment is there for the Lord, the more success is there for the devotee. I'll explain this purport. This is very important. This is a very nice nice things to understand and discuss. But we will see some things, we will come to that point. But before that, how first step in comprehending or understanding the Lord. So now to find the love in our heart, the method is sadhana. We discussed. Now sadhana is a practice. What happens? It restructures our consciousness. This is a very important section. I will try to send notes also if we complete. Otherwise, tomorrow we'll continue with this discussion. So what sadhana does, it restructures our consciousness so that we can feel the presence of Lord and feel the presence of Lord and become attached to Him. Now all the shastras and all, they give this, what one should meditate on, and therefore the meditation is very important factor. All what the success comes when we meditate. And this is what Krishna is, Manmana Bhav Madbhaktu. You meditate on me. And then many other shastras also in Srimad Bhagavatam also, this sadhana is very clearly given why we should meditate. And it is said, even out of love or hatred or any form, if out of envy, if one is able to fix his mind on uh, Lord, it actually benefits. And if somebody is meditating on some material form, certain bodily form, it will attain that form. So this is the example given in Srimad Bhagavatam, that a wasp, it takes a weak insects and put in the nest, and every day comes and stings. And because of the fear, the insect, it meditate on the wasp and eventually turns into, it gets the body of a wasp. This is actually what is given in Bhagavatam. Similarly, we enter into a certain state depending on what our mind is constantly focusing on. If we're constantly focusing on social media and internet and TV, then what type of mind we are going to get? It is simple. That means we can program our mind. We can change. So this is, and even scientists also discovered this. They studied the mechanism of brain. This neuropsychologist, they also confirm. Regularly meditating on sun image will uh, image that changes the structure of brain. Even scientists also say. So of course we already know it. And scientists telling, we'll appreciate. They have come to good conclusion. It what happens is it changes structure of brain and creates a new neural networks. They say, and especially through meditation and data, new genes and new many things. They explain all these things. But the important thing is what to understand that meditation gradually changes our consciousness. It can come to the stage of bhava. That's what we all want. And we should meditate based on what Shastra says. What is the form of the Lord that is given. So, Tvam Bhakti Yoga Paribhavata Hrit Saroja. So, this is what Srimad Bhagavatam is giving, what meditation we should do. And is there in all other religions also, that meditation is there, and how this gradually purifies and gives an ability to that by meditating we start depending on the Lord, and that dependence makes our heart pure, like what we discussed in previous two classes, last two Friday and Thursday, how by depending on God our purification. Now the first purification by meditating on Lord, how we know the purification happened? First thing happens is we feel the heart is uh, powerlessness. We are I don't have any power, and then surrendering oneself to Lord. First I feel, oh, I am helpless. I cannot do much. I try, but nothing happens. Then we surrender. So these two things. This is Sharanagati. We discussed the first door to Bhakti. This is a door to Bhakti. And then gradually we focus on the name, form, qualities of the Lord, like that. And slowly it comes. Now Kunti, we'll see her logic, how she is taking us in the progression, and ultimately in the end she have her request. Now till now she did not put her request. She's just glorifying Krishna. Now she gives a sequential step for meditation. She gives, so first Namasmaran, then Rupasmaran, then Gunasmaran, like that. So step by step, the concentration happens. Meditating on the holy name, then the image of the Lord, then meditating on the qualities of the Lord, then all the pastimes of the Lord, like that. So this is, and this actually happens gradually for us. So Nama Rupa Guna Lila. This is a gradual process. Everybody happens. And when heart is sufficiently purified, it becomes ready to listen about the form of Lord. And then even then slowly it will listen about the qualities of Lord, further purification. Then it is sufficiently purified to meditate on the Leelas of the Lord. It is the gradual process. Of course, we'll not go in more detail, but we'll just, this is the understanding we all should have, how the progress, the gradual path is actually described. Now, oh, few more minutes at least. One more shloka we'll do. That's two shlokas at least. One more purport we'll do, and then we'll just. Vishan Mahagne Purushada Darshana Asat Sabhaya Vanavasa Krichrita Mrde Mrde Neha Maharata Strito Domyastaschasmi Hare Virakshita. My dear Krishna, your lordship have protected us from a poisoned cake. 1 minute. My dear Krishna, your lordship have protected us from a poisoned cake, from a great fire, from cannibals, from vicious assembly, from suffering during our exile in the forest, and from the battle where great generals were. Now you have saved us from the weapon of Ashwatthama. The list of dangers encountered is submitted herein. Devaki was once put in difficulty by her envious brother, otherwise she was well. But Kunti Devi and her sons were put in one difficulty after another for years and years together. They were put into trouble by Duryodhana and his party due to the kingdom, and each and every time the sons of Kunti were saved by the Lord. Once Bhima was administered poison in a cake, and once they were put into a house made of shalak and set fire, and once Draupadi was dragged out and attempts were made to insult her by stripping her naked in the vicious assembly of the Kurus. The Lord saved Draupadi by supplying an immeasurable length of cloth, and Duryodhana's party failed to see her naked. Similarly, when they were exiled in the forest, Bhima had to fight with a man-eater demon, Hidimba Rakshasa, but the Lord saved him. So it was not finished there. After all these tribulations, there was a great battle of Kurukshetra, and Arjuna had to meet such great generals as Drona, Bhishma, and Karna, all powerful fighters. At last, even when everything was done away with, there was Brahmastra released by son of Dronacharya to kill the child within the womb of Uttara. And so the Lord saved only surviving descendant of Kuru Maharaj Parikshit. So like this, after there are nice description, nice explanations for it. We will discuss in detail about each these verses. I did not explain about them. I have some point to share from these verses also. So we have to understand the process very well. The image of Lord is already there in the holy name. This is the first thing we have to understand. And the holy name will gradually reveal in our heart. And when we hear the holy name very sincerely. So when the first stage is completed, when we can see the Nama, holy name reveals the name, then form and all these things, then we gradually go to the next stage and we attain success. Now here, okay, any questions, comment till now? Anything to share? Okay. We'll read one more. We will just read all the shlokas once and one more. I'll see how much big is the purport. Okay, we'll just read all the shlokas once. I did not make in separate file. We'll start from 18th onwards. You can repeat. We'll read together so that you'll memorize some of the shlokas by the end of this our chapter. Kunti uvacha namaste purusham tvadyam Ishvaram prakrite param alaksham sarvabhutanam antarbhairavasthitam Maya channam ajnadokshajamavyayam na lakshase modakrisha nato natyadaro yata tata paramahamsanam munina mamalatmana bhakti yoga vidanatam katam pashyemahi striyah Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Namah Pankajanabhaya Namah Pankajamaline Namah Pankajanetraya Namaste Pankajangraye Yata Rishikesha Kalena Devaki Kamsena Ruttati Chiram Sucharpita Vimohitaham cha sahatmaja vibho tvayeva natena mukudvipachana. ईशान्माग्ने पुरुषाददर्शनात् असत्सभायावनवासकृच्छ्रत मृदे मृदे नेह महारथास्थितो दौम्यस्तश्चास्मि हरे विरक्षिता विपदः सन्तता शश्वत् तत्र तत्र जगद्गुरो भवतो दर्शनं यस्यादपुनर्भवदर्शनम् जन्मैश्वर्याशतश्रीभिर्विन्दमानमदः पुमान् नैवात्मविदातुं वै त्वामकिञ्चन गोचरम् नमः नमो किञ्चन वित्ताय निर्वित्तगुणवृत्तये आत्मा रामाय शान्ताय कैवल्यपतये नमः मन्ये त्वां कालमीशानम् अनादिनिधनं विभुं समं चरन्तं सर्वत्र भूतानामीप्सितः कलिः न वेद कश्चित् भगवांश्चिकीर्षितं तवेहमानस्य निनां विडम्बनम् न यस्य कश्चित् दयितोऽस्ति कर्हिचित् द्वेष्यश्च यस्मिन् विषमामतिर्न जन्म कर्म च विश्वात्मन्नजस्य कर्तुरात्मनः तिर्यन्निशिशियादिषु तदत्यन्ता विडम्बनम् गोप्या ददे त्वयिकता कसिधाम तावत् याते दशाशुरुकल्याञ्जनसम्भ्रमाक्षम् वक्त्रं निनीय भवभावनया सुतस्य सामान् विमोहयतिभिरप्यद्भिपेति केचिदाहुरजं जातं पुण्यश्लोकस्य कीर्तये यदो प्रियः सन्मयाये मलयस्येव चन्दनम् अपरे वसुदेवस्य देवक्यां याचितो भगादजस्त्वम् अस्य क्षेमाय वदाय च सुरद्विषाम् भारावतारणान्ये भुवो नावो इवो ददो सीदन्त्या भूरिभारेण जातो हि आत्मभुवार्थितः भवेस्मिन् तुष्यमानानामविद्याकामकर्मभिः श्रवणस्मरणार्हाणि करिष्यन्निति केचन शृण्वन्ति गायन्ति गृह्णन्त भीक्ष्णशः स्मरन्ति नन्दन्ति तवेहितं जना तयैव पश्यन्त चिरेव तावकं भवप्रवाहो परमं पदाम्बुजम् अभ्यत्यन्नस्त्वं सकृते हितप्रभो जिहासुहृदो निजीविनः येषां न चान्यद्भवतः पदाम्बुजात् परायणं राजसि योजितां केवयं नाम रूपाभ्यां युधुभिः सह पाण्डवा भवतो दर्शनं यर्हि ऋषिकानामिवेशितो नेयं शोभिष्यते तत्र यथाधीनं गदाधरा तत्पदैरणिका भाति सुलक्षणविलक्षणैः इमे जनपदा स्मृता स्वपक्षौषधिवीरुगा वनादिर्नद्यौतन्मत्तो हेदन्ते तव वीक्षितैः अत विश्वेश विश्वात्मन् विश्वमूर्ति स्वकेषु मे स्नेहपाशमिमुच्यन्ते दृढं पाण्डिषु विष्णुषु त्वयि मे नन्न विषया मतिर्मधुपते असकृतिमुद्वहतो मद्धां भुङ्गे योगं मुदन्ति श्रीकृष्ण कृष्ण सख विष्णुषभावनीतृग्राजन्यवंशगहनापवर्गवीर्यं गोविन्द गोद्विजसुरार्तिहरावतारै योगेश्वरा किल भो भगवन् नमस्ते. So thank you very much. Any comment, questions? Otherwise we'll end here. Tomorrow we'll continue. We just covered 3 shlokas. We have from 18 to 43. So many shlokas are there. We'll see whatever. I'll try to some purports. I will. You can have some homework. Here. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Kunti Maharani ki jai.
Jai.